mental health is something that we don't talk about enough. In the black community, we're massively overrepresented in the mental health institutions, even more so than in the prisons. And again, these are questions we have to ask. Well, why?
But once you get a control and an understanding of who you are, no one can use you against you. No one can ever use your mental illness against you. You've already spoke about it, so what you got?
The biggest point in life to resolve mental health is like giving a fuck about a person.
Where did you get the courage? I got the courage for 2 words. I care.
It's Chill Will Radio, where connections will be made, advice will be given, jokes will be told, and things will get real. My name is Willis Cooks, and I'm your host. But understand this show is not meant to be used as a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health professional. Enjoy the show, y'all. Okay. Round motherfucking 2, man. Welcome to another episode of Chill Will Radio. Man, if you was here from the beginning, probably like the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long it happened, man, the mouse kind of died on me, man. Like the mic was on mute, and as I tried to cut it on, when everything popped on, it just died, and everything just turned to shit. But it happens. You gotta roll with the punches and make sure everything fly, make sure everything is all good. But anyway, I'm here, Willis Cooks. Welcome to another episode of Chill Will Radio, where we're talking about all things mental health, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, the taboo, the not so taboo, whatever it is that we're talking about when it comes to mental health, that's what we're talking about, right? So here on Chill Will Radio is what's going on. Here, I'm getting eyes from Jackie. I don't know. Do you guys hear me? Make some noise on the other end if you hear me. I'm not really sure, but we're going to make it work. Maybe. I don't know. Jackie, is everything all good before I continue so I can know? Just tell me if everything's all good. Do you hear it? I am unmuted. I'm good on this end. See, look, Jackie in here got me scared. The producer lady, come on, man. But anyway, thank you, Jackie, for having my back, man. It's important to always make sure you have those people on your back to make sure everything is all good. Because if she wasn't here and everything was going south, I would not know. Y'all, I would be talking into a mic and getting nowhere. So thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. But checking in, man, to all those who are listening, thank you for listening. To all those who will be listening later on, because you got something to do, you're watching this All-Star game, whatever it is, good looking. To all those individuals who will be listening 2 days from now, tomorrow, a year from now, I don't care, good looking. And to all those, especially to all those individuals who are not going to hear this show at all, good looking. You probably haven't caught on now, but you will catch on eventually. Whenever you do, hey, the only thing that matters is that you do. So, checking in, man, how was my week? What is going on with myself? Man, this week was very, very, on one end, it was frustrating. On the other end, it was just like, it's kind of stupid or whatever. It has a lot to do with work, actually, right? So it has a whole lot to do with work, right? Actually, this has a lot to do with my main job. So what I've been doing right now is I've actually been looking for a new job. I believe I've spoken about this the last show, but for the past 2 months, I've been looking for a new job to replace another job that I'm just frankly getting tired of, right? So I ended up, landing a position with 3 other jobs. So now I'm probably working now, and I will be working 3 other new jobs. But my main job, the job that I have, at the psych ward, they're finna cut my hours like drastically, right? So I'm per diem at all of my jobs, and I'm only per diem solely because I want full control of my schedule, right? I hate the concept of a job. I hate asking somebody, can I have today off, and going through all that nonsense, and I'm going to get denied for some vacation that I believe I deserve. Like, I just can't fuck with it. So, which is why I choose to always go per diem. But I was a per diem employee, but I was working full-time hours, right? So I get the company gets a new CEO. He starts making all sorts of budget cuts. First thing they're trying to do is, how can we get rid of all of these social workers? Because apparently we have too many there. So what the first thing they do is they go look at the per diems, which is me and a few other folks, but they don't work as much. So they looking at me, they cutting my hours. I spoke with my manager, today's Sunday. Yesterday, she flat out told me, like, Willis, I wouldn't trip if you went to go work somewhere else. She flat out told me that, like, she said it in the nicest way possible. The main reason why they're making changes is because she's over budget and she just has to make changes. So it's like, it's frustrating because I actually kind of do like that job, but it is, I'm still going to be working there, just not as much. But on the other end, it's like, whatever, because I got 3 new jobs on the way. And all of the jobs that I have, they're actually paying me damn near double or double and a half than what that job is actually paying me. So it's a win-win regardless. I'm not really taking the L, but it is what it is, and that's the week, and that's what's going on. So moving right on into the actual self-care piece of the week, the one thing that I believe is thoroughly important, right, that I believe we all need to implement within our self-care regimen as quickly as possible. And it's easy, it's free. I always like to give easy, quick, little free stuff. But the one thing I believe everyone needs to implement within their self-care regimen is to do this one quick little thing before you go to bed and as soon as you wake up, right? Read positive affirmations before you go to bed and as soon as you wake up. Why should you do that, right? It's haven't you noticed the mood that you fall asleep in, 9 times out of 10, you're going to wake up in that exact same mood. If you go to sleep happy, you're going to wake up in a good mood. If you go to sleep pissed off at the world, at your girl or whatever, as soon as you wake up, that's going to be the first thing that you think about on your brain, right? So which is why it's always important to, if you have any sorts of arguments with your girlfriend or a friend or whatever the case may be, it's thoroughly important to try to get over that or let that go or communicate, talk about that with that other individual before you go to bed, because that's going to be right there on your brain. And as soon as you get up, it's going to be right there, right? So which is why reading positive affirmations before you go to bed, it's important. It's very, very important, because you want to actually get your mind in a certain space. When you're going to bed, you actually want to be able to think positively while you're asleep. I don't know if that really makes sense, but having your brain and having your thoughts, having your conscience in a positive mind state is a beautiful thing, and it's a great thing, because waking up angry is a bad thing. Waking up angry at the world is a bad thing. One of these days this week, I can't remember the day, but I went to sleep pissed off and I woke up pissed off. Like, I woke up mad, and then I was mad that whole day, and I'm like the man that always say, like, yo, just get over your shit. Deal with it or whatever. But it is so much harder to get over something if you go to sleep with that thing on your mind, you wake up with that thing on your mind, right? Because you're going to look at it like, damn, I'm still thinking about this. Now you're going to get mad at yourself about the fact that you're still thinking about this, and now you're not going to be able to get over it. Now you're going to cause yourself to get anxious. Now you're not going to like the day. Now you got raggedy people all up in your face talking to you, breath stink, all this other stuff that you just easily getting irritated at, right? But if you make sure whatever you have going on in your body, in your system with someone else, make sure you get that out before you go to sleep, and make sure you read something positive before you go to sleep. It doesn't have to be much. Read positive affirmations before you go to sleep. I used to do this all the time, but I actually fell off, right? I have this book. It's called Words of Wisdom by, I don't know the name of the author, but it's by the guy who wrote the 4 Agreements. It's by the guy who wrote the 4 Agreements, right? He has a small little Words of Wisdom book. I used to read that every morning and every night before I went to sleep. I fell off. Because, I thought I knew it all. I thought I didn't need it. I thought I was straight. But the one thing in life that's very, very important is we have to understand the importance of consistency. So if you're reading something every night before you go to sleep, make sure that's consistent. So that way you can kind of reprogram your mind into the way, or into those positive things which looking forward to, right? So that's the self-care regimen that I want everybody here to implement within their life. And man, my throat is dry, but but that's the self-care regimen, the self-care piece I want everybody to, mention and throw into their life and, help it out, right? So as we go ahead and move on to the actual main topic of the show today. So the main thing that I wanted to make sure we speak about today, right, is holding your friends accountable, right? It's very, very important that we hold, when it comes to mental health, it's very, very important that we hold our friends accountable, right? Because if we don't hold our friends accountable, we're just going to allow our friends' behavior to be shit, right? Or they're just going to allow our behavior to be shit, right? And you do not want to continue to operate in a shitful behavior place, if that makes sense. I don't know. It don't really matter. But you want someone right there on your side that's going to call your shit when it is. If he sees you getting lazy, call you out on it. If he sees you saying dumb shit, call you out on it. If he sees you just operating whatever, call him out on it. And these conversations are tough, right? Anything when it comes to mental health is going to involve a tough conversation. right? So that's the beautiful thing about mental health, right? It opens everything up with these conversations. So I brought my man Keith here, right? To have, I guess, this, it ain't gonna be a tough conversation, but this is my guy, but this is a conversation I believe is warranted, right? A conversation that I solely disagree on, my man. But first and foremost, what's going on? What's the deal? How you feeling?
What's up, man? Today's going to be a stimulating conversation. I think everybody listening is going to learn a lot. I think everybody in the room is going to be compelled to agree with I. So I'm looking forward to the conversation, man.
I like how you say everybody's just going to agree with me. You know, it's very...
No, I said I.
I, me, whatever. He's implicating that his train of thought is going to be on point. But that's not the case when it comes to, you know, actually talking through some form of disagreements. It's not really about getting my point across.
Right.
It's not really about getting his point across. It's more so about being able to listen to his point, accept his point, and hopefully make sure that he understands that he can accept my point. So both of our kind of worlds or our consciousness or whatever, our minds could be opened up to both perspectives, because we don't want to operate through one lens. It's a very bad thing.
Absolutely.
Very bad thing.
Absolutely.
So, just to give a little background, whatever it is, into why I believe we need to have this conversation, man. Fill them all in and give them a little synopsis of everything.
Of why I'm here?
Yes.
So, okay. Well, if you listen to the station, you heard my show Monday morning. Monday morning
comes on Monday morning.
Every single Monday morning. You can't forget it. So we had I had a show on, and it was titled Black People Racist Too. And, you know, my show is 30 minutes, so I can't really get elaborate on a lot of things. So I'm glad I'm here. But I wanted to draw out the point that a lot of black people don't see racism outside of when it's been done to them. And they don't see how when they also use those same tactics towards other people or even other races that are not white, or even to white people, we don't realize how we're actually implementing the ideology of racism as well, because then they can just take the same philosophy you're doing and just apply it to their own color or race, and then thus racism continues to manifest itself. And I think that, you know, we got to also take responsibility on how we're helping racism as black people. So that's why I said Black People Racist Too. It's more so I knew the title was going to get people to listen, and the numbers look better than, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just based on the title itself. So
what made you actually think of that, and why do you feel as if that's important?
Because I feel like right now there's a lot of things, there's a lot of fingers being pointed. I brought you up in the show and said how you were talking about fake anger, and I thought that was a huge point. I'm glad you brought that up because it's true. And not only fake, I like to call it sometimes misplaced anger.
Yeah, I like that better.
You know, misplaced. It's an opportunity to be mad at something.
True.
So we take it.
We always look for that.
Absolutely. And by all means, naturally we're taught to that. I mean, we go to school, and when you get your paper back, the only thing that's marked on your paper is the wrong answers. Right? Why don't they just mark the right ones? Well, it'd have the same principle. But so we're taught to look for something wrong.
Why do you think we're taught? Why do you keep saying taught? Who taught us to look for the wrong thing?
Each other. You know,
each other?
And that's when it comes back to taking responsibility for what we create.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because even though you were taught something, you become consciously aware of something that is happening to you, or you're doing something and you continue to do it, and you just say, oh, well, it's the way it's always been, or oh, it's because I'm black, or no, you're consciously aware of what's happening. You know what I mean? Now you're making new decisions every day to continue to do them, but to not do it.
But where did that come from?
Where did what come from? What do you mean?
You saying we taught each other to immediately go to the negative thing. Now, where did that come from?
You know, I think
it has to start from somewhere.
I agree. And because unfortunately our brain's only 3 pounds, and it can't conceive anything beyond what we can see or have experienced, to be honest with you. We can't even conceive something not having a beginning or having an end. You know, so to answer that question would be almost impossible, because we only have 6,500 years of documented history on this earth, but we've understood that it's so much older than that. So we're missing so much information in different languages, you know, and different cultures, that we don't have enough information to say where it came from. All we can just say is what it is now.
Okay, you're right. That's a nice, I guess, dismissive type of point.
It was, right? Hey, I thought that was pretty well.
But but black people are racist too.
Yeah.
Right. And you made a comment within your show that you sometimes believe black people are the most racist.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're more racist than
situations.
white folks. Right.
In
Why
situations.
is that? And give me an example if you could.
Because we get a pass as black people
Okay.
because of our oppression and what we had to endure and what we're still enduring
Okay.
dealing with.
Okay.
So we get a pass for the extra, is what I'm saying. And a lot of times we use it.
Is it for being extra or?
I'm saying it's what makes anything fair is if you can do something, I can do it too, right? That's what makes it fair. There's a lot of things that we can do that other people can't do.
Okay.
And I don't want to get as typical as to say the word nigga because that's too easy. I would rather get more difficult in this type of conversation because I know this is a place that we can have that.
Okay.
But just how we now I'm going to go in here and act black because I feel like they fear me already, or because I know that there's a black privilege in certain situations. I use it to my advantage. And we know what that is.
Exactly. So when we're okay, so just to try to make sure we're on the same playing field, right? When we're speaking about racism and black people are racist too, it's important that we define what racism is.
No, it's not.
Why it's not important to define what racism is?
Because whose definition is true?
Okay, whose definition is true? Okay, break that down to me.
Okay. So people have always often said, if you don't have the power, then you can't be racist. And I mentioned in my show, I said that's BS. That means you don't believe you have the power, so you don't. You don't believe you have the power already. You do have the power of influence.
Okay.
That's more powerful than anything else.
Okay.
It's influence. You can talk somebody out of their money. That's called scammers.
Okay.
So influence is more powerful than anything else.
Okay. So where do you think the actual term racism and then the practice of racism came from?
Well, it's an ism. So, we got socialism, we got classism. I think classism existed before racism did because racism only started existing when slavery existed.
And who was the one that did that?
Oh, absolutely. It was the Europeans that settled here.
White people.
Well, the reason why I don't want to say white people because white and black didn't get created when slavery first started. If we want to really kick it.
Who created that divide though?
I don't know who, but I know that it was done by slavery. Slavery was the cause for it, and it was a separation between. There was too many African countries, obviously. They didn't know who was who. They honestly didn't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
And also to strip black people from their African roots, they get from the names, the languages. So we're not even going to call you African no more. We're going to call you black. You know what I'm saying?
And then that's where the divide came from, right? Because we have to separate. We have to figure out how we're going to separate this group of people from us, right? So that's where, that's why we're going to create the concept of race, because race within itself don't exist. At the end of the day,
only exists
we're all
in America.
Black, right? It doesn't only exist in America, right? It exists in Europe, because if you go to Europe, or if you go to certain parts in Germany, if you go to the Caribbeans, your skin color is the one that's going to determine, how you're treated. But white people created racism, right? In order to really separate themselves, right? Because before that, we have to understand the black folks, even though we went over there and we taught white folks how to bathe and brought them out of their dark ages and everything like that, we did not look at them as something different. We looked at them as people, right? We looked at them as just individuals that was there up until white folks came and needed a reason to separate us. That's where all that stuff came from.
Okay, well, I do agree with some of that. I will say this.
Okay.
I think what people fail to realize is there was interaction going on between Africans and quote unquote white people, because there was no white people back then. It's either you were Irish, you were Polish, you were European. White and black did not exist. It was, we have these Africans over here, and I'm an Irish person selling in America, so therefore I have African slaves. It took years and years past for it to switch from being African when people finally decided to, when generations happened and just detached from the African heritage. That's when it's like, what are we called now? You know what I'm saying? And it was the term niggers. Okay, well, that became a derogatory term at one point. Now it was like, you don't say that. Now it was like, what do we call them? Now it was like, well, we'll use the other word, which is not so, derogatory, which is black.
Okay.
So I think when we even call ourselves black, that was a term given to us, realizing, because nobody's actually black and nobody's actually white. That's BS.
Well, black is something to use to kind of lump everybody up into one pot because you had
Absolutely.
niggas, you had niggers, you had colorful, all these other things, right? So black
No.
is somewhat used.
No, we did not.
Color was that white people were calling us colored before they were calling us African Americans.
This is what I
Now
agree.
we were calling
I'm not
African
disagreeing,
Americans,
but
and now we're black.
I don't disagree. I'm saying there's
Go ahead.
errors. There's errors.
Okay.
So like in the era of the term nigger, black wasn't being used as frequently.
It wasn't.
Or in the era of when at the beginning of slavery, nobody was using the term nigger. Or nor was anybody using the term black. It's over evolution. It's over when people started to get. It took 400 years, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like it took time
it's
to
crazy
evolve to black.
It's crazy, and
To
I
turn black.
just seen this actually on Instagram, which is funny. It's crazy how we've always said 400 years, but this year marks 400 years of slavery within America.
Absolutely.
But even still, right? You said a valid point. The term black was not used back then. However, it's a process to actually get to that point because we went from niggers and we incorporated the word nigga, right? So it went from niggers to colored folks to African Americans, and now we're actually black, right? But when it comes to actually, defining racism, right, that's kind of where we have to start at, right? Because if we don't create a definition for it, right,
That's
we're
fair.
just going to be all over the place.
That's fair.
Right? So first of all, racism, the term race itself, race is, and we can agree upon the fact that everybody, at the end of the day, we're all just humans. There's no such thing as race.
Right, it's a human race.
Everybody's come from Africa at the end of the day, right? Everybody's black at the end of the day. But
No, everybody's not black. Everybody come from Africa, but everybody's not black. It's a
okay,
big difference.
okay. Let me say
'Cause
that.
if I'm Egyptian, I'm not black.
Everybody
You see what I'm
has
saying?
African roots. Let's say
Okay,
that.
all right.
Starts there.
That's fine.
Starts
But
there.
we
Everybody has
as black people have to
roots.
start realizing Africa is a continent and not a place just for dark Africans. There's a lot of fucking countries in Africa.
But Keith,
Slavery came from one side of Africa.
But Keith, who are those individuals that taught us to think like that when it comes to Africa? Because there's a lot of people who think Africa is a country.
No. See, now I will agree that, like I said,
black
people are detached from our roots. This is why we continue. Why we just said fuck it. We just gonna take black and run with it.
Okay.
So I would agree with that.
And because
But,
because we're attached from our roots, because we're attached from where we come from,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have to first, deal with the people who brought us here, right? We have to first actually gel and work within their environment, which was the white folks. And you have the white folks saying, you have the white folks killing us, you have the white folks raping us, you have the white folks forcing us to fight against each other. You have the white folks separating us based upon our color and everything like that. So that's how we within ourselves are also internally separated, right?
Well,
but hold on. But when it comes to, like I said, racism, right? It's important that we come up with a definition of that. We got to understand racism is nothing more than prejudice and prejudice plus power. Right? So when you were speaking about racism the last show, a lot of the things and a lot of the concepts I would firmly agree with if you were using the word prejudice, right? To a certain extent, yes, black people are extremely prejudiced, right? Prejudice means nothing but prejudge, right? Black people are extremely prejudiced, bigoted to a certain extent. But racism, no, right? Racism is more so when you are able to take away, to take away the rights, take away, the things of a group of individuals, right? You as an individual, you as a CEO, you have the ability to practice racism by not allowing certain individuals on this show based upon their skin tone or whatever the case may be. However, as a group where your, form of racism do any real damage in a certain community, nah.
Well, I disagree.
Go ahead.
I mean, only because I feel like who I am, I feel like I touch a lot of people and I'm a powerful individual, and I feel like everybody I align myself with is also powerful individuals, so I know that we have a body of influence.
Yeah.
And a body of influence, like I said, is everything.
Yeah.
So but I've made decisions based on people's race. I've made decisions yes and no, based on the race of people, just because the business that we're in, you have to. Like that's what the reality is. Like I give an example. If you listen to radio now, if you listen to like the 90 whatever the hip hop stations, who are all usually the jocks. Most of them, majority of them are Hispanic. You ever realize that? Playing hip hop music. Why is that? Because 81% of the LA market in radio is Hispanic.
That's not racism though.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm using race to give myself whatever advantage I want, in this particular market.
Okay.
So I'm saying basing a decision off of race? Yes or no? So if I was a person applying for that job and I'm like, you're not gonna hire me because I'm black, now I'm saying you're racist because she Mexican, she get the job, because I'm black I don't. That's racist. See how I can flip that? But how I just told you, you said it was different, but it's not when I'm black, and that was my point. As black people, we don't see when it's, you know what I'm saying, we only see when it's happening to us, you know. But in that particular situation I just mentioned, I wouldn't get hired on air as a radio station because I'm not Hispanic. You see what I'm saying?
Are we wrong though for seeing when it's only happening to us?
No,
when historically it has. When historically we know that it has only happened to us.
That's because of lack of knowledge.
When I say historically that we know, right?
Okay.
I know it happened other places.
It happened in Africa first. What do you think? What do you think the idea of it? How do you think the first slaves got over here from? Because like I said, they wasn't from everywhere in Africa. It was only particular parts. Obviously, Ethiopia didn't have no problem with slavery over
western
here.
Part of the western part of Africa, yes.
Yeah, Ethiopia, Libya. I don't think did Libya. No, I think Libya did, but it was Eritrea didn't have no issues. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of countries that didn't have issues. So understand that there was a trade. Like there was a conversation. There was a situation where Africans in those countries was selling people into slavery.
Yes.
That's how it originally started. I don't know. Like I said, I'm only reading books that were written by white people. You know what I'm saying? And by now I'm reading new books or whatever the case may be. I'm only getting the information second, third hand like we all are.
Yeah.
So I have to interpret whatever I can.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Let me go into the comments real quick, man. My boy X, did black people create their own involvement in America? No, black people did not create our own involvement in America, right? To go forth from what you're talking about, I believe you brought up a definition. It says... It's a whole lot of shit. X. It's a whole lot of stuff, man. If you want to come in, call in. X, you can call in 323-900-0478, right? Terrence, what's the deal, man? This sounds like a BSU meeting. Bro, who owns the station? Black folks own the station. My man Keith, the person who's talking, owns the station, my man X. But, right, another point that I wanted to make sure we speak about, bro, is how you said black people are the most racist can be more racist than white people.
Yeah, in certain situations.
The bigger in certain situations.
Yeah,
in what situation?
So I'm never going to say black people are more racist than white people. I don't, But there's a situation where I'm like, damn, bro, like you actually the one like making this shit racist, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just when.
But are we wrong for actually thinking that?
Thinking what?
Having those racist, I guess, antennas up when we're in a room full of people in which we can possibly be profiled.
Recognizing racism and being racist, doing the act is something different. So to recognize it is one thing, and I think at all points, we was in me and Jackie, we was in Pittsburgh, and it was this one, this white lady. She came up to one of. Now, I was just breaking down the situation of what seemed to be racist and was kind of misconstrued, and you can understand the perspective. So we was with a tall guy. He had dreads and he had a chain on. He was flossed. He was, and a white lady came and was like, are you a rapper? And that's offensive. You know what I mean, to a black person, and especially so it was offensive to him. But she like, no, like. In all fairness, he looked like Waka Flocka. You know what I'm saying? Like, in all fairness.
Yeah.
But you see how, like, so now because he's black, she can't even ask the question without being, like, she wasn't being racist. You know what I mean? But it still could have been seen as offensive. So the eggshells that sometimes non-racist people have to walk on is so tough because, you know what I'm saying? Some things we look for, oh, is that racist? If it didn't feel racist, no, it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, no. How did you feel about it? Did you feel offended by it? You know what I'm saying? If that's so, then yeah. But that don't mean that person knew what was happening. They were just, I think it was one of them situations, like I said, where I felt like she was being pressed and she was like, yo, the man looked like a rapper. So I was just wanted to ask him, you know what I'm saying? But,
okay.
I mean, she got the press on.
Okay,
you know
so I get it. Dude, so... Because what I'm hearing, do black folks use racism or a cop-out with certain things? Yes.
Hell yeah.
We definitely
it's the black
do.
card.
We definitely do.
That's the black privilege card.
And I spoke about that last week. When I had my boy X here. I was telling him, even though we live within this white supremacist system, that does not mean we cannot function and do damn near everything we want to do within the system. But when it comes to actually being racist, and I like what Terrence put here, he said black people are not more racist. Black people are just perfect at practicing self-hate. And self-hate comes from those racist practices that white people have done to us.
I agree.
Right? We would not. The reason why there is a pro-black, or the reason why there is a black love, or the reason why there is a black or a pro-black anything, right, is that's there to actually help that other individual know how powerful and how great they are.
I agree.
The reason why Hispanics don't have to do it, the reason why Asians don't have to do it, the reason why all these other, ethnicities or races or whatever don't have to do it, and why black people have to do it, is because we live in a system in which we are constantly marginalized. We're a marginalized group of individuals. We live in a system in which we are constantly beat over and over and over. Politically, through entertainment, through sports. We're watching the All-Star game right now, through every aspect of this government and the system that we live in. So it's important that we put that pro before anything else, so we can understand how great we are. Now, does that mean we are more racist than the other? We can never be more racist than any other group. Nobody can ever be more racist than any other group of other individuals outside of white people, because racism does not exist only in America. It exists all over the world because of white folks. Racism would not be here without white folks, right? Because white Africans did interact with, I guess, Europeans or people outside of the continent of Africa before they even came here. Was that term used back then? Nah, because Africans and us, even as black people here in America, we're naturally loving individuals, right? We understand how to operate out of the Afrocentric perspective, which basically means we're going to bring everyone together.
Man, Africans hella rude, man. Don't be. Come on, man. I got love for you. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, what is this? Like,
man, I just had this African give me the dopest compliment. He was
they
like,
cool.
He was like, Willis, I like your ways. Can you teach me how to get them? I think because I'm African, I don't know how to brush. I don't know how to brush.
But it's really for them. It's not even they rude. They just have a different a different approach to things. It's a different culture. And when you understand it, you like, oh, that's not rude. That's just
they
them
just
being
trying
who
to get
they
to
are.
the point.
Yeah, exactly. And we kind of real cool, laissez-faire type out here. Black people. So that's even the situation. But to go back to what you were saying, I think I agree with about 80%, and then you lost me there at the last 20%.
Go ahead.
I agree with you. I agree with Terrence too about saying it's more self-hate. But now that we're consciously aware of that, we have to make the conscious choice to start changing. And we have to start changing within. You see how it's self-hate? So what we got to do is stop putting so much focus on the outside and then focus on that inside, focus on that self-care. And I think that when we start loving ourselves and just really just saying as a black person, you are enough, we ain't got to prove it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that we spend a lot of black people, pro-black people on top of that, spend a lot of time trying to prove themselves. That's why I always say, man, the biggest pro-black people be all the light-skinned people because they trying to make up for for whatever. They feel like some type of like guilt or something. I don't know. But, but it's like, it's just interesting, man, is that where the focus is. Like, as black people, we have to realize the responsibility. I'm not saying that all the things that you're not saying is true. That's why I say 80%. I don't think that, I do think that racism, there's something bigger than racism. And it existed before racism. And that's classism. And I think that what's happening now is that black people are associated with the lower class. And that's why we're treated as such. Because,
and we're a part of the lower class because of what?
That's where we started. Literally, we were.
But we're a part of the lower class within this country because of racism.
No. I agree. I think that there will also still. I mean, there's still a lot of white people who just who live in just. Worse, you know what I'm saying?
White people living worse. White people who live in Midwest.
Like I said, we're in LA, so we tend to think, and I tell people you should travel and go to these places because you will see.
Oh yeah, no, white folks is doing bad.
Oh, it's more white people in America than black people. So when you add that up, it's a lot of white people doing extremely bad. You know what I'm saying?
And then the one thing racism taught those white people is that no matter how bad I'm doing, I'm always going to be better than that other black person. No matter how rich that black person is, no matter how poor I am as a white man.
I think that's false now. I think that now with generations passing, I said this before, 4 more generations, racism won't even be a topic of discussion. It's going to be more so how much money you got, like class. It's going to be like the poor is the have and the have-nots. You know what I'm saying? Because we're mixing and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You and your girl have a baby, we don't know what the hell is coming, you know what I'm saying? And like we are mixing and dabbling and stuff, you know. Jackie, she's about to have a baby with a Jamaican man, so, you know.
Because at the end,
Shit
it's two things with that.
I'm just saying,
you
know.
But it's two things with that. One, you're right? Classism is prevalent
now.
now.
That's going to be the
classism
new. That's where it's
big.
going.
Before
and it's coming back,
before
baby.
we was even little cells in the nutsack, classism was there. African classism was there. All of that, right? But will slavery and racism ever go anywhere? I don't really think so. At the end of the day, everything's gonna always go back to black, right? Because statistically, white people are dying off, right? They're dying faster than they're actually being born, right? So, which is why there are certain movements, certain things done created to annihilate. But that's a whole nother
Is that just a whole generational
That's
thing?
a whole
Because
other conversation.
Our parents are having kids at like 23 and shit. We like 35, like, man, yeah, maybe a couple more years. Like, we ain't really looking at it like that. I
mean,
think that has something to do with it.
What, the generational thing?
I
Nah.
think that we just not having kids.
Nah. I mean,
Bro, I don't know nobody with like 5 kids. Like, that was like a common thing 2 generations ago.
I mean, all right. So, are babies being born at a lesser rate than they were in the past? Yes, right.
Mm-hmm.
But who is dying faster than they are being born? White people.
Well,
right, so which
I
is
mean,
why
Is it
it's
because there's more white people in America, though? So
No.
that could increase the amount because
No.
of that particular statistic?
Whatever it is, at the end of the day, this country is gonna be majority brown, I believe.
Oh,
next few
yeah.
years.
Bro, I've been saying, we all going to look like your girl,
So-
bro. I
so-
promise that. Everybody's going to look like, bro, everybody's going to look like
So
that
it-
Puerto Rican. That's it, bro. I'm serious, bro. Watch. I'm telling you, man. It's know that I called it. Know that I caught that shit. I'm telling you right now, man. It's about to be crazy.
I mean, that's something that's already been there. That's stuff that's already been in the works.
Yeah.
There's specific programs and specific things being done in order to kind of knock out and try to slow down that actual process. Right? It's a lot of
absolutely.
things being done with that.
Yeah.
So we can agree on that part. But just going back into what you say, it's like I agree with you on the fact that we use racism and everything else as a means to stay where we're at. Right?
Yeah.
We don't understand our own internal power. We don't understand how great we are. We don't understand, even though we live in a fucked up environment and we're born into trauma, we have all of the power in the world to get ourselves out of that shit.
And I got to ask you this. So if I'm white, I'm a 30-year-old white person. Obviously, my conscious understanding of race is totally different. You know what I mean? I probably grew up, you know what I'm saying, with black people or just in a multicultural environment. But I'm just going to come from perspective of LA. You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
was going to say, it depends on where you stay at. Because if you're a 30-year-old white man living in Alabama, I believe your grandfather's racist.
right. But you see, it's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
For me.
yes.
So I believe some of the, but my experience is going to trump whatever the philosophy of the grandfather. So what I'm saying is, I saw a meme, and it was a white guy that said, I posted it, it was like, he said, white women are for white babies. I don't know if y'all seen that. And he was walking with a sign that said white women were for white babies. And there was a guy behind him, like, he looked kind of like Asian or something, but he was like doing a little SpongeBob thing, like, white men, And I was like, yo, like, the dude behind him is being hella racist. And everybody's like, no, the white dude's being racist. I'm like, why? Because if somebody said black women are for black babies, it'd be all good. And if it was a person behind them mocking a person saying that, it would be all right. But we don't see racism when it's not happening to a black person, even when it's happening to a white person. A white person can't even rep their race without being called racist. They say, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm just, trying to help all my white people. What?
It's crazy that you said that. It's crazy that you said that.
What?
It's crazy that you said that. And then before I get to my boy X's question, it's because you said, white people, if white people practice racism, they'll be like, what? Or whatever. I heard David Banner say this some months ago or some years ago that white people are supposed to practice racism. Black people are supposed to practice racism, right? The term ism, anything ism is the practice of it, right? So racism, we're supposed to be practicing race. We're supposed to be looking out for our race. We're supposed to be looking out for the people within our culture, right? So white people are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Us as black folks, we need to get out of trying to be a part of it.
Thank you.
And more so deal with us. But that actually goes into my boy's X's question, will racism end if we separate ourselves, right? Me personally, I believe integration was one of the worst things that happened to Black America.
A lot of people
Right.
agree. A lot of people think that.
Right.
Well, Black America, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if we separated ourselves, okay, will racism exist? It will still exist. However, it's going to go back to your point in terms of classism, right? Who is going to be at the bottom? Who's going to be at the top?
Well, see, I think that will also what we failed to realize the integration was necessary at that time for a certain amount of resources. We were building our own, but you still had to get like right now, like people still we got to buy stuff from China. Like we ain't getting if China cut us off, you know what I'm saying? We're like we ain't fucking with China. It'd be a whole lot of shit not being made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think there was a certain time where it just like it was necessary in order to get.
Integration was necessary.
I think it was necessary at that time in order to get access to resources like just regular like fucking school. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be able to go to Harvard. I want to be able to be a doctor or whatever the case may be. They just controlled the resources at the time.
But black people allow white people to come to their banks and things like that. You know, even when we were segregated, white
Absolutely.
people were the ones who didn't let us go over there.
Absolutely.
Right? And that also goes back into Terrence's point of self-hate. The reason why we were so big on integrating is because we wanted to be a part of that class, that group of people.
Let me ask you this. Do you think as a black race, black people are trying to get equality? Or are we actually trying to be the dominant, you know what I'm saying, like race? Like, let's be honest here. Because sometimes when I feel like what we're fighting for is not equality and not fairness.
I think we're trying to be accepted by someone who doesn't want to accept us.
You really think we're trying to be accepted?
Oh,
yeah. I disagree with
the reason why I would say we work so hard at being accepted,
By who?
and being loved. Easy an example. This damn Gucci thing, right? This Gucci thing, right? We understand that, and I've always said this, right? Why are we getting mad at certain individuals who have always been racist, who have always been that,
You're right.
Instead of wanting an apology, because wanting an apology from someone is in our mind, we want to give that person. We want an excuse for that person to actually be a part of our lives. We want an excuse to be able to wear that person's clothes. We want an excuse to be able to feel accepted, right? Which is why we want these other things or that company or that person to apologize so I can be okay with your racism, so I can continue to be a part of your brand.
Just say the right things. That's why I was so happy that Trump became president.
Me too.
I was one of the only.
We can agree on that.
I think as much shit we don't agree on, I think we agree on a lot of shit.
On that.
But I was so happy because I'm like, damn, great. Like now he about to fuck some shit up, and I knew he was gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
And I was ready for this to be. I was ready for this puzzle to be unscrambled. I was ready for the carpet to be swept, and I wanted. Now I knew he had loose lips. I knew he was gonna do some shit that make everybody run around, and it's like. It was the greatest thing for us because now we got racism is back to the forefront.
Yeah, for two things.
It would not happen if Hillary was in office.
You're absolutely right, which is why I always say I prefer Trump over Hillary. Right? I would rather deal with overt racism. Trump is an overt racism and overt racist, and everybody that comes after that is overt. I would rather be.
Who is he racist against?
We not even answer that
because
we already know.
I want to ask. No, we don't. We do not know.
Two things. One, it does go back to classism. Right?
I was gonna say because if he don't care about nothing but his dollars.
One, it does go back to classism, right? But also, when it comes to black folks, don't care. The people who are following after him, Donald Trump, he cares about his dollar, but everyone else cares about destroying the black race and everything.
What president cared about black people? I'll wait.
Obama. Now, did he? Hold on, pause before you even say anything.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
Did he have the opportunity to do as much as he did for black people? No. Was he a Was he a bad president? No, he did not. Was he a bad president for black people? Did black people actually end up in a worse situation when he got out of office? Yes. Barack Obama was that individual who really, really wanted to do something for the black community. But when you're living in the White House and you have to deal with you have to deal with the white supremacist system, and you're working within that system, you're going to have people against you. So even though Obama did the best that he can with the things that he was given,
Obama was an emotional savior. That's it.
An emotional savior?
He was just an emotional savior.
He provided hope.
Yeah.
and I feel like hope is useless.
And he was an emotional savior. He was like TSA. He just made people feel good.
But we don't want to discredit. We don't want to
Make people
discredit.
feel comfortable.
We don't want to discredit. What he was able to do
Definitely.
historically for other children.
Period.
Right.
Period.
Because the children looking out Obama now knows that, hey, I can be a president. A kid looking at your daughter. Looking at Obama, no, I could be a president. Kamala Harris, whatever her name is, if she becomes president, your daughter will look at that individual like, I can be president now.
No, absolutely.
Even if what they're doing is wrong to us, that other individual is now going to be able to look at, I can be that person.
I think Trump may have done more than Obama for that feeling, because Trump had got no political experience. He don't have no real
Trump is what was needed for this actual country at this time.
Now
right?
I really believe anybody can be president.
The racism,
I didn't
the
with
racism
Obama.
point, and then the fact that this country needs to fall to shit in order for it to get better.
Oh yeah, it has to.
Right.
Yeah.
So going into the comments, Tanisha said, "What if white people had a show called What if?"
What she said?
What if white people had a show called? What if? I'm sorry, this is funny. What if white people had a channel called White Entertainment Television?
Right, we'd be pissed.
It's racist.
We'd be like, what the fuck? Like, that's what I'm saying. But I understand that the demand for identifying things that were black was very important and still is very important because of the assumption. But I think that what we can do a better job of is taking black off of the prefix of things and just letting it be and let it exist as its own, and then have people discover. For instance, like the CEO, I believe, of Xerox is a black woman. Yeah. See now does that change your perspective of the business? No, it doesn't matter. Operate the business as such. So what if it's black owned? Like, we don't have to always
Thank you,
identify
Terrence, because
that.
I was going to say the same thing. Terrence said White Entertainment Television, CBS, NBC, Food Network, MTV,
Right.
VH1, HGTV,
Lifetime.
Fox, CNN, Lifetime, all the extra stuff.
Lifetime
that
to run
goes
more
back-
relationships than Instagram, bro.
It does, right? But that goes back. That goes back into what I was saying when it comes to pro-black and black love. We have to put that pro or something positive before that, because we were taught that we ain't shit. Right? And just like we have BET, we also have Telemundo.
See, now
We also have certain entertainment channels geared towards a certain environment.
I agree. The perspective I shared today upon my daily devil's advocate is the perspective of possibly a white person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And realizing that it's not understood. And also, I think that some white people are talking to the wrong black people. Because when we do talk to white people about this, our passion turns, it doesn't, like, we can't, like, we lose our ability to reason correctly because we just want to get all this essentially hate out and dump it in this situation of racism, or we want to call it racism. Like, if a person doesn't intend on hurting you, hating you, and they're looking out for theirs and their best interests, that's not racism, dog. You know what I'm saying? Just because, look,
Wrong.
I don't hate y'all, just only love us. That's what Nipsey said. And I thought that was one of the greatest lines. I don't hate y'all. I ain't got nothing against y'all. I only love us. Now, when you have something against somebody, that's when I think racism has, that's when it's rooted in hate. When you have something against somebody. Not because you make decisions based on race. We all do that shit.
But we got to understand, but racism deals with power, not the fact that I just dislike you. Right? Even though I don't know you or whatever, that does, even though I don't have to like you or have to dislike you in order to practice racism.
All right, let me ask you a question, Willis. Scenario.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks for the Safari music too. You in a lifeboat. Okay? You're in a lifeboat.
I'm in a lifeboat.
We all in here. We straight. You safe? Diddy, you straight? All right, cool. We good. There's 3 spots left on the lifeboat.
Yep.
There's 5 people off of the boat. There are 3 spots left. 3 of them are black and 2 of them are white.
Okay.
You have the power yourself. So you have the power at this very moment, right? And you just said that's where it lies, right? You have the power of who lives and who dies, correct?
Okay.
Okay. What are you making that decision on?
Everybody's getting on the boat.
No, you got 3 spots.
No, it's not. I got 3 spots. You can always make it work.
Willis, you can't make it work. The boat's going to sink.
Then if it sinks, it sinks.
So
At
you're
least
going to kill
we tried.
everybody?
We tried. If I fail, I fail. I tried.
Why don't you just get off the boat and let somebody else on? Then there'll be 4 sparks.
I believe in selfishness.
If that's the case, if you're gonna kill yourself anyways, So no, seriously.
I would be okay if I had to die for the sake of assisting a group of individuals. Period. So if
Regardless
I had
of
to,
race.
regardless of race.
Okay, so
regardless of race.
So you would get off the boat. You would sacrifice your life for a white man.
Would I sacrifice my life?
That's
for,
what you're doing.
I'm not going to sacrifice my life for anybody.
Okay, so
right for any.
if
Listen,
they get on the boat, you're risking your life because the boat's going to
I
sink.
knew exactly. I knew exactly.
Let's
go,
go, Willis.
Point.
Let's go.
I'm not sacrificing my life for anybody for the sake of. Just because. No. But if we're in a situation just like
life
that,
or
Keith,
death.
if we're in a situation like that, Keith, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm finna bring them all on and we're gonna die. It's like, no, I'm finna bring all y'all on, all y'all on, and we finna rock this bitch out.
Willis, you're not putting one extra person on. You're putting 2 extra people on. That's why I gave you the scenario.
You can give me the scenario, but in the middle of it, I'm in the middle of it.
Somebody,
on,
one person can't fit though. It just can't. You can't close the hatchet. Fuck it, Willis.
Hey.
What are you going to do, and how are you going to make that decision? Are you going to risk the lives of all your people and black people for the lives of 2 white men? Are you going to do that?
3 words, bro.
Are you going to do it?
3 words. Rock, paper, scissors.
Between who? Between who?
Oh yeah, motherfuckers! I ain't kidding.
All 5? Okay. All right. So you going so now if 2 of those white men win and get on, and you leave 2 black men stranded, you're gonna be okay with that?
Say it one time in the comments.
So I said, so 2 white men get on and 2 black men are stranded. You know what I'm saying? They just got to drown. They can't get on a lifeboat. That's
not racism, though, bro.
I'm asking you how you make your decision.
I would be fine with that, but that's not racism.
Then that's it. Then I have nothing else to say.
But what's your point?
My point was that one, you should have chose the answer that you really wanted to say was, I'm going to choose the black dudes.
That's not what I was going to say. No, it's not.
Willis, stop it.
It's not. I'm not. You know for a fact I'm not the one to tailor and to fake around for anything. That's
Willis,
not.
Stop it.
Right?
Okay.
Right? And you're saying that because
would you risk your life for a white man?
Would I risk my life for a white man?
Yeah.
Fuck no. For what?
In a situation like that?
No. If it's just one-on-one, I'm sorry. You could come on a boat. But I'm not finna be like, fuck you, get off the boat for the fact that you're just black.
No, because there's not enough
white,
space.
My bad.
No, it wasn't. It's because there wasn't enough space, and you have to make a decision.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, I see you're not going to answer this question.
I'm
move
answering the question because I don't understand what's the purpose of your question.
No, you understand it clearly.
What's the purpose?
I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
You want me to say black?
No, I want you to say that.
No, you want me to say black because you understand
Willis.
that I have a good amount of pro-blackness in me, right?
Skip.
I do. It ain't skip.
Yeah.
We're not skipping over here, motherfucker. We're not skipping. Let me go into the comments real quick, man. Didier was like he disagrees with you, Keith. He believes Trump was the worst thing to ever happen to America.
I know.
If white people are the problem or not, I'm not gonna wait till things are fair. Yeah, you don't want to wait till things are fair. You just want to go ahead and do exactly what you. And I think that's the bulk of what Keith is talking about. At the end of the day, you don't want to sit here and continue to blame racism.
You got power
white folks,
now.
White supremacists on anything.
We got money. We got opportunity. We got it now.
We have there are certain systems, put in place to try to slow down your progress, but is that going to stop your progress?
Man, look how many black millionaires we got, man. You kidding me?
Exactly.
More than ever. We got power now. Come on, man. Stop
we got power. My boy X, he also made a point. Black Entertainment is owned by Viacom. Viacom is
white-owned company.
It's a white-owned company.
Did you see that thing, that special on Netflix with I was about to say Killer Black, but Killer Mike?
Trigger warning. I seen it.
You seen the whole thing, and he tried to spin black for 3 days, and how difficult that was.
He damn near fucking any longer he probably would die.
But I think if you try to spin all white for 3 days, you'll have probably not as much difficulty because of the research, but I think you'll still have difficulty because, like I said, there's a lot of shit that's getting created. Dude, every time I go to Louisiana Chicken, Asians is cooking my shit. So like so half of the shit we get is from Japan, China, fucking Bangladesh. You know how much?
But
this whole system is reigned from Bangladesh.
I think that actual problem though. I think that right there has nothing to actually do with white folks or Asian folks or anything. I think that more so has to do with us and our lack of confidence in building those things that we want to build.
Okay.
Because to me, it makes no sense why Asians own all of the beauty supply stores, but black people are buying all of the weaves and stuff out of there. Us as black folks, we need to be able to go ahead and create that. right? We need, because we set the standard, but we're not the ones to sit there and profit from the standard.
Well, see, now this goes back to my point. It's because of the fact that black people feel like we're owed a free opportunity or a free pass to, and they use it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's because I'm black. You know.
So, do you believe black people are owed reparations?
I go back and forth on this. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's certain months I feel like yes, and there's certain months I feel like hell no. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if it was owed, it's already done and over with. Like reparations now is not going to have the impact that reparations would have made when it was necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because now,
you don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think now, like I said, like we have more black millionaires than ever. You know what I'm saying? And billionaires, damn near. You know. Just the fact that the like top 5 earners in entertainment period across the board, basketball, no matter what, like 4 out of 5 of them are black. You know what I'm saying? And that's like, okay, look, like we may not necessarily have the companies, but the wealth is there.
And what is being done with that in order to uplift the black community?
Well, see, and here's the thing, you know, it's not, I think when you get to a certain point, it's not even just about the black community. I think there are certain things being done, but it's not just about the black community. You know, once again, the population of black community is not always the largest, and sometimes it's not your best route to go. Sometimes there's a white person that's just better at editing, or it's because he's focused on it, and that's what he's been doing, that's what he wants to do. You know, I substitute teach at Maricosta High School, and then I also substitute at Losing and Hawthorne. And I can tell you, I can see in high school why the success rate is higher. And it's what the kids are focused on. It's the resources around them. It's the parental involvement.
It's exactly what my man X just said, right? He said other races have easier access to certain funds, and that gives them certain things faster, right? You're able to get a head start.
Well, what do you mean by other racists? Who we talking about?
Racist. Now? He's just speaking in general. I'm just guessing he's speaking in general.
All right, because I can say, because shout out to my Mexican people, they didn't even want to hear nothing. They ain't talking about y'all. While we over here complaining,
they're just gonna work.
While y'all out here complaining,
get the shit done.
While y'all out here complaining, we out here. While y'all been complaining for the last and marching up and down the street for the last year, we've been on the side selling tacos. We went from a fucking stand to a truck. We went from a truck to a restaurant. Now we went from a restaurant to 2 restaurants. Because while y'all was complaining about it, we was fucking trying to figure some shit out.
But that's every other race except for black folks. Yeah. Right? That's every other race except for black folks. And we have to understand a certain systems
because we feel like we owe.
But no, it's not to feel like we
owe. It's the reparation clause.
It's the two. Well, it can be part of that, but it's more so a few things. One, self-hate, right? Mexicans, Asians, Latinos, whatever. They have a whole lot more pride in them and their people than we do, right? That's
they are attached to their culture. So
that gives them the ability to go out and start things because they understand that support is going to actually be there.
I agree with that.
Other thing is the opportunities that are given to certain groups of individuals, right? Mexicans, Latino. I don't even like saying Mexicans, but I like to say Chicanos, so I'm gonna say Chicano. Chicanos are damn near given.
See, you racist because you don't know the term. You see what I'm saying? You see how? No. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That is a racist term, Jackie. Tell them it's a racist term.
Because when I say Mexicans, I'm leaving
First of all,
out
it's not
people.
Mexicans because that's racist by saying the S.
Exactly.
You can't say the S. Just like you can't say the ER in nigger. You can't say the S in Mexican. You gotta say Mexican.
The reason why I'm not saying Mexican because everybody is Mexican isn't from Mexico. That's why.
No, I'm specifically talking about Mexicans.
So Jackie in the back made a correction. We're talking about Latinos, but everybody here within California, they like to lump.
No, I'm specifically talking about Mexicans.
But we're talking about in the grand scheme of things. Everybody here in Los Angeles like to lump all of Latinos into Mexicans.
Yeah,
and that's not cool because they're not.
And just how they like to lump all shades of people into that's not white into black, and that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? I think that's BS. I think it's like. I think that we say, oh, if you got a little bit of black in you, black. That's bullshit. Like, how you just going to put that on the person? Why can't they claim because any other heritage outside of black is almost deemed as wrong? Or why don't you appreciate your black culture? It's like, what the fuck? Why can't I appreciate my Irish culture or whatever the fuck else I come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't allow it to
What do you identify as?
Me?
Yes.
I mean, I identify as a black man.
Okay, so when you're walking down the street, is the police going to say, "Oh, you're Irish, so I'm not going to shoot you"?
No, see, here's the thing about it. Everybody don't look black. On top of that, but they're considered black. You know, everybody don't look black.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? So-
I understand. My girlfriend doesn't look black, but she has black in her.
But is she black? Is the question.
It depends on what she identifies as.
but
I'm not going to call her black, but
What
if
do
she
you
identifies as
if,
that, is
what,
that.
When if somebody asks you your girlfriend black, what do you say? Yes or no?
I'm going to say you're going to have to ask her. Exactly.
Fucking Willis. What's the score to the game, dude? I don't know what the fuck. No,
Exactly.
if somebody asks you, okay, if somebody asks me, is your girl black, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm going to say no. What,
Okay.
if somebody asks you if Willis girl black, you going to say yes or no?
Anybody else that look at her is going to say she's not black.
But even whether she identifies or not, that's my point. It's like I'm automatically going to identify her based on the shade of her skin. That's not fucking fair. You know, whether she is black and I'm not saying that.
And that has nothing to do with racism. That has everything to do with prejudice. There's a difference between the stuff, bro. I'm judging her based upon what I think she looks like. Right?
And you're attaching her to a what?
I'm prejudging her.
And you're attaching her to a what?
There's a difference between racism
What are
and
you attaching her
prejudice,
to,
bro.
though?
You gotta understand the difference between the two.
Okay, no. Prejudice is say, I don't fuck with you because you eat apples and I eat oranges. That's being prejudiced.
That's not
bro.
prejudice.
What's that, fruitism? What are we calling that? Is prejudice. That's prejudice has
Prejudice means nothing but I'm prejudging you. Right?
based on what?
Based on what I see.
No, it means so much more than
Based
that.
on what? So racism means so much more than just I don't feel like I have the power to get up of whatever it is.
That's my point. I said racism just don't exist. And hey, that's why I identify myself as a person that's racist. But my racism does not live in hate. I don't have nothing against nobody. I know that I make decisions and I judge people based on their race, and we all fucking do it. Yeah. We all do it.
I do it all the time.
You racist, bro.
No, I'm prejudiced to motherfucker. I know
Why?
that.
Because they white?
I'm prejudiced to a motherfucker.
You say you don't like white
it could be.
people
Yeah, I know
more
that.
than anybody I know.
I don't wear white clothes. I don't eat white food.
I try to
uncomfortable.
I try to
around
give him some
people.
white rice. He's like, nah, bro,
get
with the brown rice. He don't eat white bread. I gave him a white t-shirt. I ain't never seen him wear it.
I get that.
You tried to
But
dye
do
your,
I have,
tried
do
to
I,
dye your
do
eyeballs.
I have the power? Do I have the power to shut down that whole race and systemically hurt
Nobody
them
and
and
guess
work
what?
them?
It won't happen to us either.
Because already has, and we still going
But it
through it.
won't happen again.
Because the systems that are in play are still there.
No, because now we built the foundation here.
But
We
you
happened when we didn't have a
cannot say
foundation.
you cannot say the systems that were put in place back then are not still prevalent today. You can't say that.
Prevalent? They still exist.
They still exist, prevalent.
Not
whatever.
all of them.
They're still here, and they're still here, and they're still harming us generation after
Absolutely.
generation.
But
right, so that's racism, bro.
but who is us?
Not prejudice.
Who is us?
Not prejudice.
Who is us though?
Black folks.
So who falls in the black folks category?
And black folks. See, this
What makes you black?
What makes me black? The
is
fact
it your
that I have
skin tone?
African. Is it my skin tone? No.
Yeah, because everybody
No,
has African roots.
that's why I
but
said
also
no.
everybody has European roots.
Oh,
Now bro, don't start. Everybody these days, trust me, bro. Somebody in your slave house was having sex. How Willis Cooks is here? You think your last name was Cooks, nigga? No. What the fuck? Your original last name was fucking Mbatu Day,
so
nigga.
you're trying to say I'm white?
No, I'm saying if you, yes, I am. Yes, the fuck I am. Goddammit. Yes, I am, Willis. And you're gonna be mighty surprised when you see fucking Polish in your skin. Nigga. I mean, in your fucking DNA. I'm 30%. God damn. You're gonna be tripping out. Are Cubans?
You wanna love?
Are Cubans who are dark? Cubans who are dark skinned and they're Cuban. Like, how do you say if somebody's black or not?
But at the end of the day, Keith, at the end of the day, no matter if you're Irish, no matter if you're Jewish, no matter if you're Polish, no matter if you're German, no matter Russian, no matter what you are, right? At the end of the day, here in America, it's a black versus white thing. Even though we have
here in America, yes,
here in America, it's a black versus white thing. Even though we have these cultures and the other races to help us separate it, but at the end of the day, if you have a full-fledged KKK individual, they're coming after everybody, black, Hispanic. If I feel as if you are a minority, quote unquote, I'm coming after you. If we can lump Irish people into the white category, we can lump German people into the white category, we can lump Jewish people into the white category.
Is Logic white?
Logic is however he identifies
No, I'm asking you.
himself as.
How do you identify him? Because you
Logic-
prejudge, right? So prejudge him. What is he?
If I'm looking at him,
Yeah.
I would say he's white.
Okay, but you understand. But you understand, though, right?
Keith, there's nothing wrong with actually prejudging someone. There's nothing wrong with it. What matters? Listen, Keith.
based on what
Listen,
race
Keith.
I identify you
Listen,
with.
Keith. There's nothing wrong with prejudging someone. What's wrong is if you keep that judgment. If I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Logic, and I know nothing about him, I'm going to assume that he's white. Up until he tells me that he's, I don't know who in his family is black, but up until that he tell me half of his, whether it's his father or his mother's side that is black, then I'm like, okay, you have that.
I'm fair with that. But then that means that we have to stop calling white people racist when they just prejudge. We have to stop saying, hey, that's racist because I asked him if you were a rapper.
And just,
you see what I'm saying?
Just as,
so
just
if
as
that's
the-
the case,
just
then
as
we gotta be on both sides. That's what I'm saying.
But just as everything that she was speaking about Monday would have been pitched completely different if you would have put prejudice instead of racism.
That's fair.
Are black people more prejudiced than other folks? I would say yes. I would say yes, definitely. Especially me. Especially my prejudice as I know that for a fact.
you full blown racist.
No, especially my prejudice as I know that for
you
a
full
fact.
blown racist.
I don't have the
You don't
ability-
eat white food.
And just like I've been through this.
Who
with
made
Diddy.
these? White hands?
Just like I've been through this with
they have
Diddy.
black gloves?
Name me a white type of food that is healthy for you.
A white type of food.
Name me a food that is
I don't
healthy
know,
and that
a
is
fucking
white.
Lentil, nigga. I don't eat that shit.
Le-
Would you ask? That's white people eat that shit. I can deal with the cauliflower, but I don't eat lentils. That shit is just weird. I don't like the name. Just like don't seem like somebody should eat.
Back into the comments, man. My man X said, "How do black people learn self-hate?" You want to answer, or you want me to answer it?
I mean, you saying something? You got something? You got something
black
ready?
Black people learn self-hate based upon
Rap
how we were
music?
treated. No, how we were treated within slavery.
What? No.
Is it
Today?
listen, today, right?
Because we're
Listen,
still learning it. It's not done.
We can still learn it, but the roots of it, where it come from, it started from slavery.
Oh, for sure.
For a fact.
Okay.
Now, has
I was gonna say,
it been changed and
the
adapted and manifested in different ways, such as rap music? Yes. But the root of it and where it came from, yes.
So
Period.
once again, black people have to take responsibility for the things that we do and create to advance
And that's-
racism
and that's
and
the
the
one-
propaganda. And I think-
Advanced racism?
yes, bro.
Okay.
We look, if we practice it, whether we realize it or not, whether we get the pass to be racist, bro, period. That's the reality. We can go on stage at a comedy show and say, black people do this, white people do that. And we could do that all day. We could do it on TV all day. We could say, F white people, and nobody's going to say anything. Like, it's crazy. We get the ultimate pass to be racist, bro, period. You know what I'm saying? And that's just reality.
I'm laughing at what X. He was like, we should go around and start asking white people, are you a golf player?
I know. I mean, that's like what? You know what I'm saying? But I
get what
we
you're
can
saying.
play racist.
Black people,
we can toy with all
black
that
people
shit.
Black people need to stop trying to be Yes, black people, even myself, sometimes I can catch that, right? We need to stop trying to be accepted by the masses. And the masses doesn't even have to be white.
It's
The
usually
masses
not.
the masses could be anybody, right? Me as a kid, if I'm growing up in the hood and I see all the dope dealers getting all this money, I'm trying to be accepted by them. But on the grand scheme of things, not on an individualistic, just what's in front of me, but on the grand scheme of things, right? The masses and the people who control everything, the white folks, we're trying to be accepted and we want to be attached to that. I'm going to go back to this Gucci thing because it's what's going on now.
Well,
Instead
who's
of
buying
trying,
tickets, bro?
Instead of trying to sit there and get an apology from them so we can have an excuse to continue to
buy,
wear
yeah.
their clothes,
Yeah.
that's fake ass hate. Just that misplaced anger that you said earlier,
Yeah.
right? Instead of trying to go ahead and be attached to them, we need you to be like, okay, you can have that. It's okay. You can have that. And if you're racist, that is fine with you being racist. But let me take care of my shit on this end.
Yeah, because you've been that way. It's nothing new, you know. Just and Kelvin said something earlier. They had different colors of that. That wasn't the only. They came out with a white version.
He made a point.
Yeah, like they had different versions of that. You know, it's just that one appeared like that. So it's just like, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of misses. Somebody brought the H&M thing a while ago with the monkey. I think that was overdone so much. I think that was like one of
we can
pure
go,
examples
but
of just
one of the clear examples is Tommy Hilfiger. He straight up said, my stuff ain't for y'all.
period. And motherfuckers is
But we
rapping
still
about
find
it.
an excuse to wear it.
Yeah, because now it's cool to wear You know, essentially, it's cool to go against the grain. You know, and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of.
I wouldn't even say it's going against the grain. I was more so it's being a part of the grain, especially with black folks. Black folks, when we speak about black folks, we have to speak about self-hate.
Yeah.
We don't know how to love ourselves and just build for ourselves. Like at the end of the day, that's what you're talking about. Black folks need to learn and be okay with the fact that we can build. We have the power to build for ourselves. We have the power to pull ourselves out of any type of bullshit. Whatever cards is dealt is given to us, we have the
we
power.
made it through slavery, bro. I don't even know how. I try to like take myself back to that time.
I know
mentally.
I probably wouldn't have made through it. I probably would have died or something.
I think I would have been looking for Harriet for sure. I would have been in there trying to hit them
Trying to
draws.
get on, trying to run, or trying to do something.
I would have been trying to.
Right? So just because of that, we got to understand how powerful and how strong of individuals we are.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. Black people, especially black women, are the strongest and dopest people on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Because of everything that we've gone through, because of everything that is not given to us, and because of how hard we have to work.
And see, now, once again, you know, this is
funny how I just said that I believe black women are the strongest people on this planet when it comes to that damn video you
Oh yeah, I know.
posted.
I can't. Yeah, don't worry about that. It'll go viral. But what I was gonna say was, I would say that there's a lot of people who've had struggles and had times in which their people are oppressed. I think that's happening around everywhere. I mean, Eritreans, they have to fight for their independence. You know what I mean? And that's a war I always bring up. I like to bring up the war between Samoa and Tonga. Like, people don't know about that battle. So there's a lot of cultures.
People in LA do.
Yeah, but we don't get the knowledge. We only get what we get in school, and all we learn about is slavery. So there's so many cultures.
But a small part of it, and that goes back to dealing with racism. Who has the power to change the perspective and change what we're able to learn? Racism is a small, especially them damn fucking textbooks in Texas, right? Racism is a small little bit of information that's put within
a few pages, and
they switch the wording of it. They try to make it seem as if it was this thing that we just agreed upon doing.
Just like Christopher Columbus.
The fact that white people are able to do that and still continue to do that, that's the racism that I'm speaking about, bro. That's the power within racism.
I feel that.
The simple fact that I can just look at Didier and be like, oh, Didier, you're ugly. That's not me saying, oh, I'm a racist because I believe Didier's ugly. That's just me being prejudiced towards him. Now,
if you say he was ugly because his last name was Gomez, that's racist.
So let me ask you a question. I said that earlier. I said I could tell Didier had some type of Mexican in him or anything in him of that nature because his last name is Gomez. Is that racist?
Probably, yeah. That's probably racist because if I was, a black person and somebody was like, oh, this is your name? I thought you would have a different name. Black people, what type of name you think I would have? Maybe like the ones you said in the video I posted. You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm offended. Now you're racist. Now I'm hitting you hard with all the fucking you racist. Now I'm beating you over the head with everything and making you feel bad and just tearing your ass up. And I'm growing in anger because of something that's small. You know what I'm saying? That's the part where I'm talking about. This one, a black person has used racism overly, and it's now you're being racist. You know what I'm saying, at this point, because now you're trying to guilt them into, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not gonna say you're using racist. You're allowing your self-hate to control you and for you to spit out bullshit
and not teach. Like there's no real teaching going on. It's a lot of argument. It's a lot of just showing you where you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of teaching. I think that white privilege is a real thing, and I think that for white people, when they don't recognize that, I think that's something that they're just missing. Like, I don't see how you don't recognize white privilege exists over, no matter, it ain't about black people. Once again, black people, this is what I want to say. Black people, if you listen out there, you're not special. We ain't the only one that went through some shit, dog. We're just one people of many different ethnicities and cultures around the world that's been through a lot of strife, that's been through shit that we haven't even read, that's been through a lot of turmoil, that's been through a lot of slavery. We don't learn shit about the Egyptians and the Mayans. You know how much slavery was going on back then? Generations of slavery, just as we had in America, just we live in America. So that's the only thing that's important to us is American history. But what I want to say is, as humans, black people, we're not special, man. People been going through this for years and years and years. The only thing that makes us different that I've seen been recorded is that nobody has been through it for the length of time that the people were brought through slavery has endured it. The length of time was just, it was crazy, you know. So that's what I would say.
And two things. One, exactly the length of time. What my man X just said, we've went through the worst, but also all of those other, because we have all of those other group of individuals who have been through it, and I'm only going to speak within America.
Yeah, only in America we've been through the worst.
Only those other group of individuals who have been through some type of slavery or some type of destruction by the hands of white folks, they've all received some type of reparations.
No.
Pause. Let me finish. You can. It's easier for Asians and shit to get loans and things like that. When it comes to Native Americans, even though they are still mistreated, they like casinos. When it comes to the Jewish folks,
that was definitely some reparation. I give the casino thing. When it comes
to the Jewish folks, right, we still give them reparation to this day. Billions and billions of dollars goes towards them, right? When it comes to black folks, when it comes to black folks. When it comes to black folks, racism is still being practiced to them on a day-to-day basis. And the second we put our hands up and say, like, yo, this is not cool because we're still going through the things that we went through in the past, they always tend to say, oh, it's not as bad, so just be okay with what you have.
I feel that. And I think that there is still a fight. I think sometimes we applying old pressure. Like, we still fighting old feuds that don't need to be fought. Like, why are we still fighting for these two 70-year-old motherfuckers? Like, let y'all motherfuckers die off and we're going to talk about something else. We're going to move forward. Like, I feel like we're fighting old battles. Mm-hmm. You know, instead of the ones that we're fighting, you know, problems that don't exist for us and our generation.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you talk to a 15-year-old white kid, even if he says something that racist because of his ignorance, not because of his hate towards you or trying to end your race, he ain't trying to do that shit. He just don't know. He play video fucking games. You know what I'm saying? We're connected more than ever. That's why I think that, look, what we need to do as black people, just focus on getting our bread up, because racism is on its way out. You know, we're working on it every day. We complain that things are changing we had a black president. So we obviously see there's an evolution, there's evolving. So the momentum is already being built. Let's fight in the areas we need to fight for. Let's focus on what we can do with each other. You know, how we can not assist it anymore.
And moving forward, that is the main topic in which we both could stand on. About the fact that we as black folks, we sometimes use racism and the things that happened yesterday as an excuse to not get off our ass today. Yeah. We need to understand because we went through everything yesterday and we're still alive and we're thriving right now today, we have the ability to not to grow, but to be greater than anyone else out here. But we have to understand that's with us. And that goes back into conquering that self-hate that was taught and that was beaten on us through centuries, through decades of pain that we've been through. That right there is a deeper level of conversation. Yeah. Is classism will always be there. Classism is just going to get worse because there's no middle class. It's just who got the money and who don't have the money. And the people who got the money, I'm finna shit on y'all who don't have the money. So classism was there before us. Classism will be there tomorrow, and classism was there, was here way before we even got here, right? But when it comes to racism, the deeper thing about it is a deeper problem. I believe isn't even racism; it's more so self-hate. Okay, we have to conquer that first.
I can accept that. I can accept that. I can meet you there. You know what I'm saying? That's that's the place I can meet you because I agree. I agree with the self-hate, and I think that's what it is.
My man X said we have to understand our histories and understand, things we go through today. Yeah. Simple fact. We got to understand what we went through yesterday and understand why things are going on today so we know how to move forward.
And Willis is okay. Like, I love the fact that your girlfriend is not black.
Willis is okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know what that lets me know? That lets me know all that shit you be talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that you mean it, but I think that you feel differently. You know what I'm saying? I think that you preach what's necessary to be on a certain part of the scale that's necessary for change. And I appreciate you for being there. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you for being there, man.
I gotta disagree with you, bro.
Of course you do. Cause you on the other, cause that's where you at on the scale.
But let me say this, and this is something that this is a, you mind if I speak about this?
She didn't know she gonna talk about.
This is a conversation that me and my girlfriend had multiple times. Because when we met, I was big on I'm only dating a black woman.
That's
I'm only
racist.
gonna have black children. It's
That's
not
racist.
That can be racist, cool, right?
That's
we can
self-hate.
Say that. We can say that, right? It has nothing to do with
If I
self-hate.
say I only date white women?
It has nothing to do with self-hate
If
for
I
me.
only date white women, what would you say about
I'm
me?
talking about for me, bro.
I'm just asking, what would you call me?
If that's hey, why don't you want to date black women? I might ask
Why
that.
don't you want to date white women?
Because they don't look good to me. They don't.
Oh, I'm not really attracted to black women.
Then that's fine. That's your opinion, right? That's your opinion. But me, I've always told myself I'm only going to date black
what about
women.
Hispanics?
Let me finish, bro. I'm only going to date black women, right? Solely because.
What about Asians?
Solely
bro?
because I thought that.
Dominican? What's she half and half? What's a little Arnold Palmer? You know what I'm saying?
you ain't gonna let me finish?
All right, I'm sorry, man.
Thank you, motherfucker. But even still with that, right? Even still with that, with my girl, right? We had tons of conversations about this, right? And I've had to get past to the fact that, it's not because she's black or white. It's more so because I wanted to date, and I was so big on dating another black woman because I was so big on pleasing the black race. When I had to understand, my relationship isn't about the black community. It's more so about what we about. Is my girlfriend half Jamaican? Yes. Is she half Asian and a bunch of other shit? Yes.
So you can't be half and a bunch of other shit then.
I don't know what her mother is. Vietnam, Vietnamese, French, and some other shit. But her pops is Jamaican, right? Jamaican.
But everybody got black in them, like you said, though.
But
so technically, you dating white women.
But hold on. That's what I had to understand because my thing with her,
yeah, we know what's up.
She always try to say that. She always try to say, and she knows that rubs me the wrong way.
I know.
But here's the thing with that, right? Like I said, even starting with her, it was like, okay, she's okay because she's like half black, right? That was for me, my own personal excuse to actually go into it.
Right, and that's all you needed was an excuse.
Understand, no, but it's not the excuse part. I had to understand that I wanted to date another black woman, not only because in my mind I wanted to please other black folks. When I had to realize, Willis, you have to get out of it's all gonna go back to self-hate. You have to get out of this aspect to please to someone else, and what are you trying to build up within yourself? At the end of the day, I'm big on peace. She provided me peace at the time when I didn't have any peace, so that's what I'm rocking with right now.
That's the same thing that a lot of black dudes say about the white women they date.
Bro, I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but you're already gonna know what I want to say.
I'm just saying.
You can say it for me, but you already know. I'm not.
I know. You don't like the way they spell. That's the truth. Just tell the truth. You said that. We know what's up. That's fine. He ain't got nothing. He said, like, that's what it is. He harassed. I appreciate you having me today, man. I really do. And by the way, I like talking this, man. I like, I have a lot of philosophies, and I always say my philosophy changes day to day. What I believe today is probably not what I might believe tomorrow. I'm gonna have a new set of experience. I'm gonna wake up with a new energy. I'm gonna think differently. I'm going to process things differently. And I may come to a new conclusion. And I think the point of conversation, the argument, is not to see who won. Like I said,
you damn right, Kirsten. I'm gonna say that shit on my chest, real. But moving on forward, man. Just at the end of the day, we can one agree on the fact that us as black people need to stop using racism and everything else.
Yeah.
As an excuse to not move forward.
Yeah.
Right. So moving forward, like I always like to end everybody off with a question. So my question that I pose to you, Keith, is what can we do as black people in order to conquer and get over this whole self-hate?
In order to conquer, I'm gonna try to make it short. What we can do to conquer and get over self-hate, I think is we got to stop using it. We got to stop using it on other people. We got to stop using hate on others, because when you hate on others, it's only inflicting your own self-hate, even if it's a white person. So I challenge you to be generous and open with everybody, regardless of race, and call it out when you see it. Don't use that as an excuse, but don't, we really got to, I don't know how to say it. I don't have the words.
For me?
But just treat everybody well, man. That's it.
For me, I know personally that and even with myself to a certain point in time, a lot of black folks believe our history started with slavery.
That's false.
If we go way before slavery even happened, we're gonna thoroughly see how powerful we were. We're gonna thoroughly see that we literally ran this whole fucking world.
And who was we?
Africans, where
Now-
we come from. The richest man ever
Yeah.
existed.
But not black people though. Africans, right?
Black people is a black people is a term to me. Black people is a term used by white folks in order to bulk everyone.
Because white people from Africa
we
too,
all
right?
have African descent, yes, but
Okay,
we're speaking
just
about
making
where
sure.
we're at right now, right? In order for black people, because we're not finna get into the intricate parts and all this other shit
Fair.
because it's going to
Fair.
confuse everybody
Fair.
else.
Fair.
We're going to get into me as being a black man and you as being a black man and everyone else. What can we do to conquer this health hate that we have? I believe that we need to go back into history and look at how we taught white people how to bathe, how we brought white people out of their own little Great Depression, Dark Ages, if that's what it was called. We need to understand how powerful we were back then so we can understand how powerful we can be today, how powerful we are now, for the simple fact that we made it through all that bullshit that we went through yesterday.
Study the Moors. I challenge you to study the Moors.
Study that. Address every bit of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Every bit of it, man. So yeah, Christian said, I think we need to just make our own table and stop trying to be at the one. Stop being We need to make our own table and stop trying to be at the one a white man created. You're definitely right.
And I think we need to create a table and invite them to it.
We've always done that.
Keep doing it.
We've always done that.
I disagree.
You disagree that we've always done that?
Disagree.
Okay, so I'm going to say there was a point in time in which black people did have everything, and white people had seen that they had to come over to the black community in order to get certain products. Did we turn white people away? No. What white people decided to do was they're going to come over and infiltrate and tear our shit down. Right?
White people. A lot of white people have never turned away a black person with the right amount of money either.
Say that again, please.
A lot of white people hardly ever turn away a black person with the right amount of money.
That goes back into classism, brother.
And that's where it originates from.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all going to have some form of disagreement, but what really matters most, I guess, in the bulk of the main topic that I wanted to make sure we got to today, is that even though two people are speaking from different lenses, even though two people have two different perspectives on the same thing, we all have the ability to agree on a bunch of things that we just agreed upon, but we also can see eye to eye without actually tearing the next man down.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I hate is when black people decide to tear the next black man down when he decides to date outside of his race, when
Absolutely.
he decides to
It's
date
retarded.
white women, or when he decides to do something, right? If that's what that person wants to do, okay, cool. Hopefully you're not doing it just for the simple fact because you hate yourself, and I feel great when I'm with this. If you're not doing it for those reasons, have fun, be safe, be peaceful, do all of those good things, man.
And if somebody didn't mix, we wouldn't be here. Think about that.
Yeah. So, Kirsten, good looking for. Thank you for tuning in, my man X. Thank you for tuning in, Didier. Thank you for tuning in, Tanisha. Thank you for tuning in to everyone that's listening but did not comment. Thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. Shout out to my man Keith.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Monday morning. That means we have Monday morning coming up on Monday morning, so make sure you're listening to Monday morning on your Monday morning, traveling to work on Monday morning. At what time, Keith, does Monday morning start?
8:30 a.m.
Monday morning starts at 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning, so make sure on Monday morning you're listening to Monday morning.
I'm about to cut that up and use it.
Whoop. So always remember, y'all, always remember, ain't no wealth without your mental health. So please stay blessed and take care of yourself. I'm finna put that on a slogan somewhere.
Ooh.
Ain't no wealth without your
Bars.
mental health. So please stay blessed and take care of yourself. Be great, y'all. Peace.